In this video, I wanted to compare the Samsung Galaxy S10 Lite to the Note 10 Lite so it's easier to decide which Galaxy is best for you. Just before we start, I made detailed reviews of each device and you'll find all the links and show notes down below the video. First, the design. The devices look very similar and you can barely tell the difference if you look at the front of the phones. Both have the same size 6.7-inch displays and the dimensions of each device are very similar. However, the Note 10 Lite is slightly taller, just a tad wider and a little bit thicker. Both phones use metal frames and the overall build quality is good. The backplate of each device is made of what Samsung calls a 3D glassing material, which is essentially a highly polished plastic material with premium glass-like glossy surface and gradients, so it's not real glass but it's made to look and feel like glass. I could say that the display is slightly better on the S10 Lite, but the difference is negligible. Both phones have great AMOLED panels. There is also an in-display fingerprint scanner on each device, but I found it to be quite slow in comparison to what the competition has to offer. The differences start with the camera setup. On the back of the S10 Lite, we have a triple camera system that consists of a regular, wide-angle, and macro lens. The main shooter has an optical image stabilization. On the back of the Note 10 Lite, we have an array of cameras that consists of ultra-wide, the main shooter, and telephoto lens. Both the primary and zoom cameras are coupled with optical image stabilization. Both devices have 32-megapixel shooters on the front. I'll talk about image quality in just a bit. Both phones have pretty good bottom-firing loudspeakers, but I found the Galaxy S10 Lite's speaker to be slightly better. Here are a few audio samples. What is really strange is that the Note 10 Lite has a headphone jack, whereas the S10 Lite lacks this feature. Neither phone has IP68 certification for water and dust resistance, which is quite frustrating. The S Pen is what sets the Note series apart from the competition. With the S Pen you can take notes, off-screen memos, draw, magnify, glance, highlight the text, sign the documents, and so on and so forth. Some people simply like scrolling through the menus with the S Pen. You can also use air gestures. For example, you can use the S Pen as a remote control to take pictures or switch between main and selfie cameras. Overall, the S Pen definitely increases your productivity in one way or another. You just need to master all of the features to make the best out of it. I'm glad that Samsung released a cheaper and more affordable Note for the stylus or the S Pen fans. The Galaxy S10 Lite has a more powerful and newer chipset. It runs on a flagship-grade Snapdragon 855, whereas the Note 10 Lite runs on a 2-year-old Exynos 9810 CPU that was used in phones like the Galaxy S9 back in 2018. Even though some may say that the chipset is outdated, it's still capable of handling pretty much all of the 3D games you throw at it. I didn't have any issues playing games like Asphalt 9, Asphalt Extreme, Shadow Fight 3, and even the PUBG on the highest graphics settings. On the other hand, the S10 Lite is more future-proof due to a greater amount of sheer power thanks to the newer CPU. As you may expect, all of the 3D games just fly on the Samsung Galaxy S10 Lite. Both phones run on the One UI 2.0 that is based on Android 10. As I've mentioned in dedicated reviews, the UI is loaded with features and customization options, but obviously, the Note 10 Lite has an edge here thanks to the S Pen and all the extra features it brings. I can't name a clear winner in terms of the day-to-day performance, which shows that the Exynos 9810 is still a very capable and powerful CPU even in 2020. When it comes to daylight image quality, we have very interesting results. Pictures taken on a cloudy day using the wide-angle lens on the Note 10 Lite look sharper. However, the S10 Lite's wide-angle shooter takes better images on a sunny day, meaning that the sensor and the lens are more sensitive to slight changes of lighting. If you use the main camera, the S10 Lite usually takes a little bit sharper and slightly better looking photos. Also, the camera tends to produce colder looking images than the Note 10 Lite. On the other hand, you can't really tell the difference in terms of quality in some of the shots. Obviously, the Note 10 Lite's setup gives you more versatility as it has 2x optical zoom lens. The S10 Lite's macro lens is cool, but I definitely prefer the telephoto shooter. Night image quality is better on the S10 Lite as this phone produces sharper images with more detail. However, the Note 10 Lite's night mode can help you achieve really nice looking shots that have slightly different image processing than the S10 Lite. Selfies look better on the S10 Lite. They are sharper and they have nicer looking colors. For example, white balance is off in some of the shots taken with a Note 10 Lite's camera, which leads to a greenish tint. The S10 Lite's selfie shooter also takes better looking selfie portraits. Low light selfies look okay on each device. However, the Note 10 Lite's camera tends to capture more natural looking skin tones in auto mode. In portrait mode, both phones kind of suck in lower lit situations, but the S10 Lite managed to produce cleaner looking photos. Both phones can record video in 30 or 60 frames per second. It's really hard to distinguish the winner here as both devices produce high quality footage, but the S10 Lite seems to produce a touch sharper 4K 60fps video. 4K 30fps footage also looks a little bit better on the S10 Lite as I can see less noise. However, the Note 10 Lite's video is smoother and more stable because you can enable video stabilization in 4K, whereas this setting is disabled on the S10 Lite. That's probably due to an early software build and Samsung may want to polish its tilt optical image stabilization system, so expect much smoother 4K video with the future software updates. There's also the so-called super steady video mode on each device, which allows you to record really smooth video, but I don't like unnatural stabilization with jello effects and the overall video simply does not look great. Also, this mode works only in 1080p. Both phones ship with 4500 mAh battery. Surprisingly, the Note 10 Lite is better in terms of endurance. My record screen on time is over 11 hours on the S10 Lite and over 13 hours on the Note 10 Lite. Those SOT times were achieved while using the devices mainly for YouTube and social media. Keep in mind, however, that screen on time is always subjective and it depends on your usage habits. The S10 Lite supports 45 watts, whereas the Note 10 Lite supports only 25 watts fast charging. Neither phone has wireless charging, which is a feature reserved for Samsung's flagships. When it comes to connectivity, both phones perform equally well and they ship with plenty of sensors on board. That means that the call quality, Wi-Fi, GPS and other connectivity options work well on each device. So there you have it, the Galaxy S10 Lite versus the Note 10 Lite. Here is why you should buy the S10 Lite despite the fact that it costs about 50 euros more. The device ships with a more powerful processor and is slightly more compact, thinner and lighter. Further, the S10 Lite's cameras provide better overall image quality even though the difference is not always obvious. In addition, the S10 Lite supports 45 watts fast charging in comparison to 25 watts found on the Note 10 Lite. Lastly, the phone has a slightly better loudspeaker. Now, this is why you should get the Note 10 Lite instead of the S10 Lite. It costs about 50 euros less, but it gives you the S Pen functionality that before this phone was available only on Samsung's flagships. You also get a slightly outdated yet still very capable CPU that assures good overall performance. The camera setup is more versatile thanks to the telephoto lens, and the Note 10 Lite still has the headphone jack. Lastly, the battery life is a little bit better even though the difference is negligible. I would personally go with the Note 10 Lite as I think it provides more value thanks to the S Pen. I don't mind a little bit outdated CPU and I love the zoom lens. Do you agree with my pick or not? Would you go with the S10 Lite or the Note 10 Lite? Tell me in the comment section down below. Just before I sign out, I wanted to say thanks for the channel sponsor Wondershare. Dr. Phone Toolkit allows you to transfer WhatsApp chats from iOS to Android devices quickly and easily. You can also back up iOS WhatsApp messages to PC and restore WhatsApp chats to any device flexibly. All you have to do is download and install Dr. Phone Toolkit on your computer, follow a few easy steps, and you're good to go. At the moment, you can get the full version 40% off thanks to company's limited time sales. Check out all the links and show notes in the video description down below. I hope you guys found this video useful, and if you did, please hit the like button, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, follow me on social media, and as always, it was Linus, thank you for watching and see you soon.